Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome everyone to a new school year. I am Denise Millen, and I am the TLS at Kingsland Elementary School. We just have a few standards-based grading updates to share with you, so we're trying something a little different. First, you can view this when it is most convenient for you and your school, and secondly, you don't have to leave your school for a meeting. We know that your time is priceless, so let's get started. First, let's take a look at the scoring scales. Just a reminder, you can find them in the GSC subject area resources folder on the Google Drive and in the standards-based grading folder. There is a first grade folder and a second grade folder, so it should be easy to find. The language of the domain grades is now consistent with county policy. We did get that. We did follow through with that. So those changes you'll see here. In ELA, the lexile expectations you'll see there and there are the same. That did not change. But you will notice that the map growth 2 through 5 replaces the RI. Notice that first graders, this is something I need you to pay real close attention to. The first graders that you anticipate to make an overall 4 in ELA will need to take the map growth 2 through 5 at some point. Your TLS will go over that later after we get through that first administration. So that's for a later topic. Don't worry about that right now. In math, you'll see that we will be changing that score. We'll be using the RIT score as measured by map growth. But we do not have that exact number yet. After the first administration, we plan to have numbers to work with, and we'll update that expectation after reviewing our data and speaking with our MAP representative. All right, let's take a look at the reporting periods documents. First of all, when you're looking at this, you see any errors, things that do not match the assessment schedule for the county, please let me know and I can update this document. But I've been over it several times, so hopefully I didn't miss anything, but you know how that goes. So feel free to let me know. One big change that we have here in ELA with first grade is that we've combined the first 2 formatives into one formative. So you'll see it listed here. So their first ELA formative for first grade is later on September 20th. It takes them a while, we know, to get them, independently reading, and even that's kind of early in the year, but it's better than August. See, second grade has August, so it's something to be thankful for. The formative and common dates on this document are consistent with that pacing chart, like I said, for ELA and for math, so just double check me on that. Now, I'd like to take just a few minutes to clarify some things related to the dates for formatives and commons and their alignment to the dates listed here for reporting on the report card. So first of all, remember that this document represents the reporting periods. This is the time in which we could possibly expect mastery of a skill or group of skills. There are times that a formative, for example, is scheduled prior to the expected reporting period. The purpose of this is to allow the formative to truly inform your instruction. In cases that a formative or common is scheduled after the reporting period, use those assessment results as evidence for growth or the need for continued support. I hope that kind of helps clarify that, but if you have other questions related to that, please email me, please let me know, and I'll try to see if we can't clarify. I realize it gets a little confusing sometimes when you're looking at, for example, a formative here for formative 4 and 5 here, but you're not assessing that for the report card until the mid-third 9 weeks. So this is what we're talking about. This right here, you just use those results to inform your instruction to see who may have mastered that in combination with this. But see, this one is connected to the standard and it's over here. So that's why we're just wanting to point that out. We realize it's like that and it's kind of on purpose so that it will help pace yourself in your instruction. But this is the time that we feel that that skill could be mastered. Okay? Updates have been made to the summary marks flowchart to represent the new information related to MAP. Remember, it reminds us here that the Lexile, to earn this 4, to get up here to the level 4, we're looking at Lexiles from the MAP growth 2 through 5, even for our first graders. Again, and you'll see the Lexiles still there, that's the same. And when we get the RIT score, when we determine that for the math, we will update this chart. Okay? Just as a reminder, you will not use this chart until the end of the third 9 weeks, when almost all standards have been taught and assessed, unless you have just a super bright kid that you've already assessed. So if you have assessed all of the standards, you can go ahead and use this chart to give an overall, but typically that's not going to be until the end of the third 9 weeks. And we need everyone to have a score by the end of the third 9 weeks as an overall score, so that parents are not shocked at the end by the result, that may be a little disturbing to them. All right, on the next 5 slides, I've included a few reminders about our grading and test administration protocols. Not a lot of changes here, but just some reminders. Remember to pay close attention to the testing administration directions. For the formative and common assessments, those are listed at the bottom of the reporting periods document. And I've got them clipped here just to kind of show you. First grade, there are no changes about, the students still need to read the passage and the teacher will read the questions and answer choices. That is for all formatives and all commons. So just please keep that in mind. Don't read the passages to the students, even in the first formative. Okay, and remember, you got first and second formative combined now. So at least it gives you a little bit more time. Okay. The thing that's new is with our second grade, and you'll see right here, our formative 1 through 6 and the common 1. That needs to follow where the students read the passages, but the teachers can read the questions and the answer choices. We made this change because formative 6 and common 1 both take place in the second semester. So that would have been an indication that this common right here would be the first common that students would be taking the entire test on their own. And we don't want that. So we want these formatives and the first common to follow this protocol listed here. But on the last common, we would like for the students to read the entire thing. You can still help pace them. You could say, okay, everybody read this passage. Now go ahead with your questions if you feel that's appropriate. You know your students, and sometimes they just need help pacing along the way, so you can certainly intervene. We just want them to read the passages and the questions and answer choices. Having a score using that criteria will really help our third grade teachers as they move into that next grade level, because when they get to third grade, they're reading everything on their own. So while we don't expect that of our second graders, and which is represented here, we do want to use something that will help give our third grade teachers an indication from the beginning of the year who may need that extra support even better. Okay, so that's just our purpose for that, trying to help bridge that gap between second and third grade. Remember also to pay close attention to the comprehension guidelines on the scoring scales. There's nothing new on this slide, just a reminder that passages used for comprehension grades must be within the Lexile range listed for the grade level. And this is in your scoring scales. I just wanted to remind everybody. So within this on-level instructional You know, we're going to expect students to be able to read these passages on their own within this level in order to say that that comprehension skill is mastered. It cannot be read to them. Okay? The same for second grade. This is theirs. And even though we have our common assessment 2, that we're allowing students to read the whole thing by themselves, for the report card on all of those comprehension assessments, allow the students to read the passage independently, but the teacher can read the questions and answer choices for the report card comprehension grades. Okay? Remember to pay close attention to the fluency guidelines on the scoring scales. Again, there's not a change with the fluency Lexile expectations. This is just simply a reminder. You can certainly, on many times prior to the end of the second weeks when this skill is being reported, you can use whatever fluency Lexile level you wish to use leading up to this time. But anything that's reported on the report card, that fluency score must be from passages within the provided Lexile range. Okay? And I have added second grade. I don't believe I've added first grade yet, but I know for sure I have second grade, some passages from the journeys in the sample assessment folder on the GSE standards-based grading folder that you can use, that is Lexiled appropriately to be used for the report card grading. Okay? And while I know you feel like you're buried under a pile of papers, please remember that one piece of evidence is not sufficient to determine mastery of a skill. A domain score should be determined based on multiple pieces of evidence. So I know it gets overwhelming. I know it's really hard. You know, those of you that are really good with your organization, please try to share how you keep all of these things organized, because I know it can be very overwhelming at times, but it's really important that we keep the reminder that we have to use more than just one piece of evidence. Finally, the parent orientation presentation has been updated. Please feel free to copy and save it to your drive so that you can make it your very own. And of course, get with your administration about the most appropriate time to share that with your parents. Maybe your school is choosing to do it during a C4 night, or have a special parent night. Whatever you do to share that with your parents, but you can feel free to use the presentation slide available in our standards-based grading folder. Just know that we continue to be committed to make improvements to these documents. I hope you have detected that we are very serious about that. We have not arrived yet, so we continue to please encourage you to ask questions and provide feedback to what we have. That is how we can clarify our process and make it better. If you have questions about what we've presented today or other questions related to standards-based grading, please check with your TLS and feel free to make contact with me as well. My email is listed here, and I love to talk about curriculum, so I'm your girl. If you just need to brainstorm, give me a call or shoot me an email. I'd love to talk with you. I'm at Kingsland Elementary, so you can call the school and they can find me. So just thank you for your time and best wishes for a great school year. Thank y'all.